स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रही है. 1 second. Is it happening to everyone? Okay. All right. What about now? Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अभी visible है?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right. So let me make this full screen. All right. So we are going to learn about the pipelines. Okay. This is very basic example of pipeline where we are going to do two things. First is the feature scaling and second is the logistic regression. तो ये सब इंपोर्ट से आपके ओके साइकिट लर्न में से डेटा सेट इंपोर्ट किया क्योंकि हमें आइरिस का डेटा सेट चाहिए मॉडल सिलेक्शन फॉर स्प्लिटिंग स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन और ये पाइपलाइन एक नया चीज है जो आपने देखा नहीं होगा पहले कभी. फर्स्ट थिंग वी डू इज स्प्लिट द डेटा. डेटा स्प्लिट करने के बाद में we are going to use this data to fit the model. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to say that create a pipeline here. There are two ways of creating a pipeline. सबसे पहले तो ये कंस्ट्रक्टर पार्ट वेयर जहाँ पे आप पाइपलाइन ओपन करो क्रिएट करोगे. तो दिस इज हाउ यू क्रिएट अ ऑब्जेक्ट राइट पाइपलाइन. फिर ये कंस्ट्रक्टर है उसका इसमें दो वैल्यूज जा रही है इसमें लिस्ट जा रही है एक. Okay, there's a list that goes in as a variable to this. Now this list has two items in it. Item number one is first step, which is the standard scalar. Item number two is the classifier thing. ये classifier कौन सा यूज करना है. All right. So this is how you create a pipeline. तो पहले ये होगा बाद में ये होगा. ये लिस्ट है इसलिए ये सब सीक्वेंस में हो रहा है. ओके लिस्ट में हमेशा चीजें फिक्स्ड होती है सीक्वेंस में. अगर आप सीक्वेंस चेंज भी कर सकते हो बट when you traverse a list you usually traverse a list in a proper sequence one by one either from left to right or from right to left if required. अभी जो पाइपलाइन है यहाँ पर जो आइटम्स जा रहे हैं these items are called as transformers. All right, they are called transformers because they mainly implement two things. First is the fit method. Okay, and second is a transform method. Right, इसलिए उनको बोलते हैं ट्रांसफॉर्मर्स. तो ये पाइपलाइन में जो भी आइटम जाएंगे सब ट्रांसफॉर्मर्स ही रहने चाहिए. यू कैन नॉट हैव क्रॉस वैलिडेशन और other things in this here. You can have standard scalar, you can have normal scalar. You have to go and check the documentation. If it is a transformer, then you can use it in the pipeline. If you want to have some customized way of transforming the data, then you have to write your own transformers. Right? We'll not get there right now. Once you understand this, once you write the code by yourself for this, after that you will be able to do it. One more thing, जब आप कोड लिखोगे don't copy and paste the code. You will not understand anything. साइड में रखो, दो स्क्रीन ओपन करो. एक स्क्रीन में आपका जो कोड है अभी का वो रखो और साइड के स्क्रीन में दूसरा कोड रखो जो जहां से आपको यूज करना है या फिर जो आपको आपके प्रोजेक्ट में यूज करना है या फिर जहां से आपको इंस्पिरेशन लेना है समझ लो. एंड टाइप इट विथ योर हैंड्स. एक बार तो भी आपके उंगलियों के नीचे से जाना चाहिए कोड. तो टाइप इट विथ योर हैंड्स इवन इफ इट मीन्स दैट यू आर लुकिंग एट द अदर स्क्रीन एंड जस्ट टाइपिंग इट एज इट इज. लेट इट बी. आपको कॉपी पेस्ट नहीं करना है. ओके, ट्राइंग टू से दिस अगेन एंड अगेन, नो कॉपी पेस्टिंग. There's no way for me to identify if you are doing copy paste or not, but I'm going to trust you all that you are not going to do a copy paste. Scalar और logistic regression दो steps है यहाँ पे. This is what the pipeline looks like. Alright, अगर आपको pipeline print करना है तो एक visually ऐसे दिखता है pipeline. So this is saying that this is a box, this is a pipeline. This pipeline contains standard scalar first. After that, logistic regression. You can again open this to see other details. ये पाइपलाइन में स्टेप्स कौन से हैं. तो यहाँ पे दो स्टेप्स दिए हैं, स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर और लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन. दिस इज जस्ट अ विजुअल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ योर कोड. ओके, स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर है आपने इसको ओपन किया तो यहाँ पे ऑब्जेक्ट दिखाया जा रहा है. स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर का कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट है, स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर या नॉर्मल ऑब्जेक्ट है. लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन का कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट है, ये ऑब्जेक्ट है रैंडम स्टेट 42. रैंडम स्टेट 42 का यूज किस लिए है, ताकि आपका कोड रिपीट सॉरी आपके रिजल्ट रिपीट हो सके. नहीं तो आपके रिजल्ट हमेशा अलग अलग आते रहेंगे. ठीक है, तो इसलिए रैंडम स्टेट डालना होता है. या तो 42 डालो 21 डालो, एक वैल्यू फिक्स रखनी पड़ती है रैंडम स्टेट की. ओके, सो दिस इज अ वेरी सिंपल पाइपलाइन जहाँ पे हमने दो चीजें की है, स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर एंड लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन. नेक्स्ट वी आर गोइंग टू मेक द प्रेडिक्शंस यूजिंग द पाइपलाइन अगेन. सो आपका जो पाइपलाइन है, पाइपलाइन पे आपको मेथड मिलता है प्रेडिक्ट नाम का. ओके, सो पाइपलाइन डॉट प्रेडिक्ट एक्स टेस्ट विल गिव यू द प्रेडिक्शंस फॉर वाई. उसके बाद में आप उसका एक्यूरेसी स्कोर निकालो, क्लासिफिकेशन रिपोर्ट निकालो एंड कंफ्यूजन मैट्रिक्स निकालो. दिस इज a classification example. That's why we are doing this classification report, confusion matrix, and accuracy. So this is how the report looks like. What is your accuracy on your test data? Now, yeah, this accuracy is really great. This is like 100% accurate. That's fine. Maybe आप जब project करोगे आपका 100% accuracy नहीं आएगा. This is classification report. What's the precision of class 0, of class 1, of class 2? What is the recall? What is the F1 score? What is the support? ठीक है, सपोर्ट के बारे में अभी तक मैंने बताया नहीं है. मैं नेक्स्ट सेशन में एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ सपोर्ट के बारे में. All right. So this is macro average, average of precision, average of, and this is the weighted average. Weighted average कैसे निकालते हैं? Weighted average is calculated using the number of data points. ठीक है, the support यहाँ पे जो support दिख रहा है, this is nothing but कितने data points है जो 0 है, कितने data points है जो 1 है, कितने data points है जो 11 है. That is what the support is about. So this support will help you calculate the weighted average. All right. And this is your confusion matrix. Next, now उसी पाइपलाइन में हम लोग क्रॉस वैलिडेशन ऐड करते हैं. एंड लेट्स सी हाउ दैट लुक्स. पहले का कोड जैसे के वैसे रहेगा, नो चेंजेस देयर. यहाँ पर इंपोर्ट मिसिंग है विच इज अ मैट्रिक्स, यू कैन ऐड दैट मैट्रिक इंपोर्ट हियर. ओके, आपको ऐसे नहीं करना है कि पहले ये करो उसके बाद में ये करना है, वैसे नहीं करना है. यू विल डायरेक्टली स्टार्ट फ्रॉम हियर. द रीजन दैट वी डिड द फर्स्ट पार्ट इज टू अंडरस्टैंड पाइपलाइन कैसे यूज करते हैं. ठीक है, एनी क्वेश्चंस? ओके, नो क्वेश्चंस. नेक्स्ट थिंग वी आर गोइंग टू ऐड क्रॉस वैलिडेशन नाउ. सेम कोड अंटिल हियर. स्प्लिट करो स्टैंडर्ड स्केलर लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन. और आपको एक क्रॉस वैल स्कोर नाम का एक मेथड होता है जो आपको प्रेजेंट मिलेगा साइकिटलन मॉडल सिलेक्शन में. ओके, दिस इज क्रॉस वैल स्कोर, फिर क्रॉस वैलिडेशन स्कोर विच विल गिव यू स्कोर्स फॉर योर क्रॉस वैलिडेशन. दिस इज अ 5 स्टेप क्रॉस वैलिडेशन और 5 फोल्ड क्रॉस वैलिडेशन. क्रॉस वैलिडेशन के लिए आपको पाइपलाइन बताना है, आपको एक्स ट्रेन बताना है, आपको वाई ट्रेन बताना है और नंबर ऑफ फोल्ड्स बताना है. एंड यू विल गेट द cross validation scores here like this. Cross validation scores will help you understand or help you estimate what would your test error look like. Okay, what would your test error may look like. So if you want to do any hyperparameter tuning, you can do that. Okay, that's why you do the cross validation कि आपका टेस्ट में एरर कैसे दिख सकता है. Without seeing the test data, can you estimate what the test error will look like? That's why you're doing the cross validation. All right. You have cross validation scores like this. This will basically tell that your test score is going to be looking something between this range 0.87121. Okay. Fit will again be on the X train and Y train. और ये pipeline dot fit जो कर रहे हैं हम लोग, that is again standard scalar and logistic regression only. Okay, you fit the model always. मॉडल को फिट किया जाता है. जब तक आप फिट नहीं करते तब तक मॉडल ट्रेन नहीं होता. So you have to do the fit. This is a time consuming कोड. इसको टाइम लगता है एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए. एक्सपेंसिव कोड टू एग्जीक्यूट. राइट, सो मेक श्योर वॉट एवर यू हैव इन दिस फिट इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर यू. नहीं तो यू विल बी जस्ट डूइंग सम ग्रिड सर्च और वो घंटों लग जाते हैं ट्रेनिंग खत्म होने के लिए. नेवर एंड्स. ऑलराइट, सो बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट. when we'll see the grid search, you'll understand more about it. Again, the pipeline here is standard scalar and logistic regression. Pipeline में कुछ भी change नहीं हुआ है. Only thing that we did is we added the cross validation score. You have to do the same thing. Keep this code in the slide, type it down with your hands, and see how it looks for your project. Next is making the predictions on the test data. Same code that we had used here. Okay. Pipeline.predict, get the accuracy, get the classification report, get the confusion matrix. इसके बाद में that you'll add some things. You'll say that the model is this and then the precision was this much. It is important for us to focus on precision. Why? Because this is a place where it's important to not have many false positives and so on. Okay? जो भी आपके wordings रहेंगे वो wordings आपको डालने हैं. Wordings आपको खुद के words में डालना है. There should be no copy and paste again there. Okay? You will make mistake. It's fine, but it has to be in your words. Now what we are going to do is we are going to do a hyperparameter tuning with grid search, and that too in the pipeline. Okay, so you have a train test split here. उसके बाद में you'll have standard scalar, you'll have a logistic regression. एक ही model use कर रहे हैं हम, we are not using multiple models here. You are going to tell that you have a parameter grid. This is basically telling you what are the different values that you're trying to use. Okay, this is a classifier underscore C. This is a classifier underscore penalty. Penalty का मतलब होता है what type of regression, what type of penalty you want to use. You want to use L1 regularization, you want to use L2 regularization. Okay, by default I think it's L1 regularization. Still check. अगर आप सिर्फ ऐसे करते हो logistic regression, then maybe I think there's no regularization if you don't give it. Okay, this is the C value. So I think this is cost, or I think this is not cost. This may be a learning rate. Let me check about that. So what you're trying to tell is you're having a logistic regression. I want to build a logistic regression. I want to try this various settings. 0.001 for C. Okay. 0.00, 0.01 for C. 1 for C, 10 for C. Okay. Different values. ये सारे अलग अलग values मुझे use करने हैं. Okay. ये value use करनी है और ये value use करनी है. That will be my one logistic regression. फिर ये value use करनी है, ये value use करनी है. That is my second logistic regression. फिर ये वैल्यू यूज करनी है, ये वैल्यू यूज करनी है. दैट इज माय थर्ड. ऐसे बहुत सारे लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन के कॉम्बिनेशंस तैयार करने हैं हमें. ऑलराइट, we create many combinations of the logistic regression. Of all this combination, which combination is giving me the best results in the cross validation is what I'm going to use as my best model. ऑलराइट, यहाँ पर कितने कॉम्बिनेशन बनेंगे? कितने कॉम्बिनेशन बनेंगे यहाँ पे?
6.
8.
Oh, sorry, 8, sir.
8 combinations.
8 combinations, right? So first way is this 4 way of selecting this, and then there are 2 ways of selecting this. At 4 to the 8. Okay. तो इमेजिन करो कि आप लोग 8 मॉडल्स बिल्ड कर रहे हो यहाँ पे. So it is going to be time consuming again. That's why I'm saying be very careful when you select this. Don't go crazy like you have 10 here and then you have 20 in here, different values. So that becomes 10 into 20 और बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लग जाएगा आपको बिल्डिंग में. स्टार्ट करते हो तब maybe just have one value in here, okay, and one value in here. That's fine. All right. Then you have to tell that you are doing a grid search cross validation. This is a grid that you want to search and you want to do a cross validation. Cross validation 5-fold. Scoring metric क्या है आपका? Accuracy. You can have a different scoring metric here. Precision, recall, या फिर अपना खुद का metric भी लगा सकते हो आप. Right. Next thing is do a grid search dot fit. Okay. Now this grid search is having a fit method in it, which means this is also a transformer. Okay. Check if it's a transformer or not. But I think it's a transformer because यहाँ पे fit method है present. Fit और transform दोनों method होंगे present इसमें. So you do a grid search and इस पे fit करना है. अभी तक हमने किस पे fit किया है? Pipeline dot fit किया है. लेकिन अभी हमने grid search dot fit किया है. All right. Why? Because we want to build all these different combinations of the logistic regression and fit this training data in it. After building all that, after doing all that grid search, you want to get what was the best model, करेक्ट? यहाँ पे आपने 8 अलग-अलग मॉडल्स क्रिएट किए, उसमें से अच्छा मॉडल कौन सा था? Maybe the model which is having the value of C as 0.01 and value of L2 as the penalty is the best model. To get the best model, you have to tell grid search dot best estimator, and this will happen always after the fit. You have to fit, you have to create the models, build the models. Only after that you can get the best estimator. Okay, so of all the model, who is the best estimator? That will be the best model that you get. Okay, then using the best model, you just do the predictions on the test. Predictions किए आपने टेस्ट पे, accuracy calculate की टेस्ट की, classification report calculate किया टेस्ट का, and you build this full thing of the test data. Any questions? All good till here? Yes, no? All right, great. Now we are going to see some complex pipelines. Usually what happens in our data set, we have columns which are having mixed values in it. Sorry, we have mixed columns, such as there are some columns which are text columns, then there are some columns which are numeric columns. All right, and you want to do different type of transformation on each. यहाँ पर क्या किया था हमने थोड़ी देर पहले? We just did a standard scalar and we said it's fine because all the variables that we have here are numeric variables. But what if you don't have numerical variables and you have different type of variables? And what if you want to do the imputation, such as missing values and all of that? Um, how would you do that? Okay, so even that can be added to the pipeline. All right. So missing value usually you do after before splitting, but if you want to do it after splitting, you can do that too. All right. Usually it's a good idea to do it before splitting. But this is just an example जहाँ पे हमें दिखाना है कि मल्टीपल चीजें कैसे करते हैं पाइपलाइन में. तो सबसे पहले हमने क्या किया? We have numerical preprocessor. This which is जब वैल्यूज न्यूमेरिकल होती है तब क्या करना है? न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यूज के लिए I want to do two things. First, I want to use a simple imputer which is going to fill the missing values with mean value. So this is a simple imputer. Second, I'm going to do a standard scalar on it. All right. Next is a categorical variable. Okay. Categorical variable में क्या करना है? हमें simple imputer यूज करना है फिर से. जो भी मिसिंग वैल्यू है, फिल वैल्यू, मिसिंग वैल्यू को एक किसी कांस्टेंट से रिप्लेस करना है. दैट कांस्टेंट कुड बी योर मोड और समथिंग एल्स. ओके. उसके बाद में, so these are the steps involved. Okay. Next step is to do a one hot encoding. थोड़ी देर पहले मैंने बोला था जब आपके पास वैल्यूज जो अननोन होती है टेक्स्ट टेस्ट में, हो सकता है लेट्स से यू हैव योर कैटेगरिकल डेटा अबाउट द एजुकेशन of the people in your data set. All right, and then there are people who are having education of bachelor's, 12th, then graduation, post grad, all of that. And then suddenly there is one new category of the education, such as people who are maybe double doctorate or maybe double masters, and that is not present in your training data, but that is only present in your test data. In that case, you have to handle that unknown variable. That's why you have to say handle unknown is equal to ignore, so that you'll not have any errors. All right. So you what you did, you created a preprocessor for numeric, you created a preprocessor for categorical, and you put this pipeline into a column transformer. Okay. So transformer में दो चीजें गई. One is your categorical processor. You have to tell what variables to use here. State, gender. These are the two variables on which you want to do the categorical processor, which is missing impute, sorry, simple imputer this and one hot encoder. Numerical preprocess पे age and weight पे करना है. Okay, so that will go in the column transformer like this. So this is a preprocessor. You create a pipeline using the preprocessor here like this. Okay, and then you can also add more things into it, such as logistic regression भी आप add कर सकते हो इसमें. Okay, थोड़ी देर पहले मैंने क्या बोला था, पाइपलाइन या फिर मेक पाइपलाइन यूज करके आप पाइप्स बनाते हो, तो यहाँ पर मेक पाइपलाइन यूज किया है, पाइपलाइन का ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं क्रिएट किया. बोथ आर गोइंग टू गिव यू द सेम रिजल्ट. This is how the pipeline is going to look visually. You have categorical variables, you have numerical variables. Numerical variables will go follow this path, categorical variables will follow this path. Okay, and both of them are going to be used to create a logistic regression. You can open this pipeline here like this. It will show you details of the code. Okay, but this is just a visual representation of the same thing that you saw here. Simple imputer, one hot encoder. Simple imputer, standard scaler. This simple imputer is for the mean, numerical variables only. This is for the categorical. Both of them are going to be used to fill the logistic regression or fit the logistic regression. Now, this is just a pipeline, but there's no grid search or there's no cross validation involved in here. We can do the same thing with cross validation and all of that. Numerical preprocessor is same, no changes there. Categorical preprocessor is same, no changes there. Column transform is again same, no changes there. Okay. You create a pipeline here. You tell preprocessor, and this is my classifier. Here random forest classifier is used, but you can use logistic regression because random forest classifier हमने सीखा नहीं है अभी तक. You can use logistic regression, and this is the grid that you want to search. All right. यहाँ पर कितने मॉडल्स बनेंगे? How many models will be created here?
Ten, sir.
Or you can tell how you calculated that too.
Classifier max depth and classifier criteria. I multiplied these two.
What about the max depth? What about the estimators, max features?
Okay.
So how many?
So the combination of all four, or only
Correct.
about
2 into 3 into 5.
5.
60, sir.
Yes.
60. 2
Yes.
into
Correct. So you'll get 60 combinations here. So that's why I keep telling, be very careful about the grid search that you use. All right. So make sure you don't have crazy grid search here and you're just waiting for a grid search to complete. Again and again, I'm telling you the same thing. Okay. I don't want any one of you to do grid search, which is complex, which is taking time. And then you'll say that I was not able to complete the project because the fitting was taking time. The fitting was taking time because your grid search is big. You're not going to do any of the big grid search here. Okay. Just have one values here. हो सकता है just have this value, have only auto, have only 4, have only Guinea index. Okay. Then you'll have only one model there. 1 into 1 into 1 into 1. Okay. Maybe you can have one more, but no more than those. You can also have random grid search. There's multiple ways of solving that issue. But for now, just imagine that you're going to have this many numbers of models built and it's very expensive to do it. You can also parallelize it. I think this njobs will tell you how to parallelize it. थोड़ा speed बढ़ जाता है, but you don't have to get there right now. This is how the code, this is how the visual representation of that thing looks like. Your main thing is your grid search CV, right? So your grid search CV is here. Your grid search CV. This is your grid search CV. This grid search CV has a pipe in it, and that pipe is nothing but a estimator pipeline. This is your pipeline. It is having two things, pre-process and random forest. So this part जो बाहर अंदर है आपके स्क्वायर ये वाला, so that is a preprocessor, and then there is a random forest. Preprocessor में column transformer है. You have categorical, numerical, and finally your random forest classifier. This should be your logistic classifier regression if you are using logistic. Random forest हमने सीखा नहीं है. We'll learn that. It's just a new model, and it's nothing complex there. All right, let me just pause here for some time and see if anyone have any questions. Go to the link that I shared here. Go through the things that are present here and let me know if you have any questions. I'll just be here for some time. I'll pause. जो मैंने लिंक शेयर किया आपके डिस्कॉर्ड चैनल पे, वो लिंक ओपन करो और ऊपर से नीचे तक कोड देखो, या फिर जो भी लिखा है वहां पे देखो एक बार. Because this is a session which is on Wednesday, I'm going to share the recording to you all. I'm expecting to get some questions because this is not a simple thing. It's a new thing. Some of you have never used pipeline or looked seen the cross validation, grid search cross validation, or any of that. All right, no questions. So we use pipeline so that there are no gaps in our training the data, and then after that using that model to predict. Okay. For example, let's say you don't use a pipeline, you fit a model. You first do a standard scaler, after that you do a imputer, and after that you fit a model. And then in test, you have to follow the same steps. Correct? First you have to, on test data, you also have to do the same thing, impute the missing. You have to do the column transformation on test. So all of that same thing is going to repeat it. Same code is getting repeated. Only thing changes is the data. If only data is changing, why do we need to write the same code again? Okay, if you build a pipeline, you can send uh, water through it. Same pipeline can be used to send something else, maybe juices and any of that. Right? Same thing. इसलिए हमें pipeline use करने हैं so that you can have standardized steps involved, and कोड रिपीटेशन कम हो जाए आपका. All the ML tasks or the data science tasks are usually performed in a sequence. और सीक्वेंस में अलग अलग ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस होते हैं. और क्योंकि ट्रांसफॉर्मर्स की ऑब्जेक्ट हमें यूज करने हैं वहां पे, वी कैन यूज अ पाइपलाइन टू डू दैट. इट विल जस्ट मेक योर लाइफ इजियर. Just encapsulate everything into a pipeline and then you're done. कोड कम हो जाता है, बग्स कम रहते हैं आपके कोड में. दैट्स व्हाई यूज अ पाइपलाइन. रिसर्च भी इजी हो जाता है. और आपका जब पाइपलाइन जब आप यूज करते हो, तो एक पाइपलाइन का आंसर would be an input to the next pipeline, right? So instead of storing multiple variables, you can just put it in a pipeline. For example, standard scalar का output जाने वाला है logistic regression को. So instead of doing a standard scalar outside and then sending the output input to the logistic regression, you can just put it in a pipeline so that this fit method knows first to do a standard scalar, after that to do a logistic regression.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And you have to call only one fit, right? You don't have to call multiple fits. नहीं तो फिर अगर आप standard scalar अलग लिखोगे, you have to call multiple times fit, multiple times predict. If you miss one of the fits or one of the predicts, then it's all a mess. It becomes difficult to handle the code or manage the code. If you want to do it without the pipelines, you can do it, but I would prefer that you all start using pipelines. And obviously, you cannot do very complex machine learning pipelines, but for your projects, you should be able to use pipeline. And it has some issues, but you should. It's fairly stable to be able to use it. Sir, can grid search CV is used for splitting the data. Splitting data के लिए हमें ट्रेन टेस्ट स्प्लिट यूज करना है. ग्रिड सर्च में ग्रिड सर्च करना है. And both are different things, Rohini. So you split the data and then you forget about the test data. You never had put your hands on the test data until you have the final model. Once you have the final model, that's when you use the test data to get the predictions. Okay. Maybe you can use it, but I'm not aware if you can use it or not. But as far as I know, you cannot use grid. नाम में ही लिखा है, it's a grid search of cross validation with the cross validation. Any other questions? All right. So that's it for today. I'll share the recording with you all and keep learning and keep working on your minor project. If you have any questions, Ask them as soon as possible. Ask them in the ask or answer channel that we have on the Discord. Do not send me DMs. I hardly get time to check the DMs. Okay. So put them on the channel. If I am not available, if someone else can answer, please make sure you answer them. You can also post those questions if you want to ask to your friends in your own WhatsApp channel, so that if there's anyone who wants to answer, who knows the answer, can help you out there. All right, so that's it for today, and I hope you all have a good day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.